There he goes. Well, hello, good morning. Well, good afternoon, good evening. No, I'm Ricardo Faguaga. I'm the chair of the organizing committee of the World Anthropological Union Congress 2025 that is going to be held in Antigua, Guatemala in November or early November of this year. Well, I'm very glad that we're having this Q&A about the photo contest. There's a lot of people who probably has a lot of questions. So just let me start briefly why we organized this contest. In the histories of anthropology, little by little, we're learning about how women anthropologists are, appearing um, or are shown in our own histories. But still, in the internet, the presence of our colleagues it seems that doesn't have a lot of impact. No, we know about their books, we know about their articles, and following this idea of our colleague Kirsten Smith, who is part of the co-organizers and co-founders of Site Black Women Anthropologists, for example. I'm following that also. That idea is like we need much more visible, or pictures, movies, films, anything that shows women in the fieldwork, because it's a sense. I cannot prove it, of course, but my sense is that there's still an idea that fieldwork is most for men. It's like this kind of weird. I don't know. Well, at least this from my perception. So this contest actually is for bringing and making much more visible the work of women doing field work and their field work at the same time. So I hope this also answers the question. We left it very open in the call for photographs in the contest, so we can allow people to experiment, bring, and also for writing us. So we're very happy to answer your questions. So that's the main idea. Now we use a platform that is film freeway, so actually we can, gather all the information, and uh, our judges to evaluate them, much more easier instead of sending files by email. So I'm going to mention that we have a small but very, very concise, great group of anthropologists who are helping us. Well, also social scientists. This is not only about anthropology, who will help us evaluate all the photo contest. And our leading um, evaluator judge is Paulina Pesat, a Mexican anthropologist who specializes in photography or history of photography in Guatemala. So I'm very happy that she joined us, in this. And also our designer, Paola Asensio, is also part of our judging or the judge team of evaluators. So more people will join. So uh, we're only hoping to, bring more people. So I'm very happy to answer your questions if you have any, no, or we can go through the platform. I know some people have some issues, or it's their first time in using, for example, Film Freeway to upload pictures or movies. It was recommended also by our chair of the film exhibition. That's why we're using, for the pictures or the photos and the film. So I'm here to answer your questions. You please write it, or just shoot.
Well, can you give some examples for what is expected in this kind of exhibition or competition or whatever it is?
Well, it's a contest. No, I should say. I wish I can give you, something visual, but what I can say is that um, that's why we left the question so open. No, for example, if you Google or you search in, women doing field work, you're gonna see much more of the, you know, pioneers. I'm gonna say anthropologists in anthropology, but from example from the global north. No, not that I don't like them. For example, I'm a fan of Audrey Richards when I was an undergraduate doing uh, food anthropology, for example, anthropology of food. So she has a lot of pictures of that. But in this occasion, what we need, or what's the intention of the contest, that's why we're asking for series, is, to start creating digital impact, for visualizing people. So we're going to create, the background is creating much more infrastructure, not only the pictures, metadata to make them visible, link their information with ORCID, for example, or their own books. There's a whole strategy going on. I can show you later about it. So what we want is, for example, you in the fieldwork, no, your past fieldwork, your recent fieldwork, or what you're doing about fieldwork. That's why we're a little bit specific about permissions. If people know about you're taking pictures of them during the fieldwork, or those kind of situations. Of course, we cannot have all the names, but as much specific as you can be, it will be great. So that's the beauty about this contest. Not that I want, something, uh, already, I'm sorry, here's the owner of the studio just arrived. Oh, there he is. Sorry. Uh, he sometimes likes to show up. Sorry. Um, so, well, that's the intention, to have it very open and to let everyone, share. Uh, because everything's going up on the internet. So we're using most of the pictures, and we hope to have a small but representative catalog. Uh, and Paulina and Paola are gonna choose all these pictures for the exhibition catalog, also open access, downloadable, so everyone will benefit from it. It's making it visible. And hopefully, creating a lot of, I don't know if the people like to cite, you know, but the pictures or the photos are gonna be there, so it's gonna be like kind of a stock photo, free for all, and link with, everyone's work. No matter if you're too, too, how can I put it, too young in the field, like undergrad, or a very seasoned scholar. The idea is to have them, it's kind of a platform, well, that's what we're envisioning. So that's the idea, you know. So it's open to interpretation, let's say, about that.
So
Yeah, and Amelia.
may I ask something? I
Yes.
have two questions. I mean, I'm excited about it, and I'm already thinking for a longer while about what angle to take. But so I have two questions. One is whether this photo series should tell a story. Do you expect it from the contributors? That's the first one. And the second one is technical one. You mentioned permission here too. So if there are other persons than me pictured, you expect me to provide their permission? That's one thing. And if the photo hasn't been taken by me, I should also have a permission of the photographer.
Okay, I'm happy to answer that, and I think it's a great questions. Well, the thing about stories is that yes and no. That's up to you. No, because the main topic is, for example, women. Let's say, Emilia, that you started doing field work. Well, I'm assuming, for example, I did my field work in 2000, 20 years, 24 years ago. Whew. Well, that was my undergrad field work, 6 months, um, studying food systems. Well, so let's say that I return there. Like I have pictures from that field work, and I have pictures now doing something completely different.
Where was I didn't get it. Where was it?
Oh, it was here in Mexico, a
Oh,
small
okay.
community of about 1,000 people,
Oh,
peasant communities. I was interested much more in the food systems, like markets. That's why I end up doing historical studies of commerce. Well, anyway, that's another story. But let's say that I have pictures of that. Well, I have pictures of that original fieldwork of 2000, and now I return just, for the sake of saying hello to old friends. Well, part of that fieldwork, I use both. No, not that they're unconnected, but it's a fieldwork. No, so you can make them connect, because the thing is that the important person here is you, Amelia, in this case, for example, that you're sending the pictures because you're giving us the permission to use them, even if you appear or not. No, that's the trick, because the licenses, and this is a very arid, let's say, part, sorry, no, is that we need them to be Creative Commons share alike 4.0 international, so we can share it in different platforms, and especially to create metadata that actually will be, harvested or gathered by other platforms. That's why we have that long, and I'm sorry, I wrote that, uh, that long Creative Commons permission. No, that's why. No, so I understand that sometimes you can have the whole permissions for everyone, but as long as you own the rights or own the pictures, we can use them and you can upload them and we can use them in a short, like, because you're signing the waiver. No, that's part of it. Now, I receive a couple of emails from colleagues from different parts of the world asking because of that Creative Commons. And let me say, is the most common license that we can use, especially to, to use it in open platforms. I'm personally an advocate of open science, no, and open access. But I understand that everyone, like, you're not giving away your rights. No, you're giving us permission to have them in a platform so everyone can use them in different or for different purposes. No, yes, and I'm sorry we're not making money with it, but the purpose of that is creating, a digital impact. It's more likely like, when you send an article and you expect someone to cite you, kind of Google Scholar is actually something, but this is with pictures or photos. Not that they're going to cite you, but at least we will have the metadata, complete. So actually, when they look, for example, from Emilia Sulik, they say like, ah, there's some pictures there from her fieldwork. Oh, there's a book, there's an article, there's a video, there's something. Oh, so this creates a small, let's say, link between things or interlink stuff, for finding women in the social sciences and anthropology. That's the idea.
Sounds great. Yeah.
That's kind of the idea. I think it's going to work. So I have a question here in the from in the chat. My question is, hey, do I need to be part of the picture? No, you don't have to. Am I expected to narrate my story of doing fieldwork? Well, we expect, a small, short explanation because sometimes pictures need, like who's in the picture and, you know, what they're doing. Not everyone has the cultural context of what people are doing. So that will help us also because in the exhibition, remember that the exhibition that we intend to have the exhibition, of course, people who win will receive, their prizes, no, that are, I think, are generous in this time. But also it is because we need them, to explain people from different backgrounds of who are the, who are in the picture, what they are doing, the time, what things happened. This is, also for the record. It's, good archival practices, I'm gonna say, especially that we're creating this very small archive of women doing field work. So that's why we need, data. I don't expect an essay, no, um, uh, because, we expect a lot of people to keep sending their series. So, yep. Oh, well, I hope I answered both questions, and I hope you sent. Now, also a reminder, you can send as many series as you want. No, there's no restriction. No, what we want, like really, what we want is to show our colleagues and to create this digital impact. No, don't get me wrong. There's enough pictures of anthropology, especially male, in certain islands that we also use as stock photo. Now it's time to change things, and that's something we're trying here. So if there's any other questions, oh, Deborah Dini, she no, she someone told me that you were showing or you're coming. Hello. Oh, hello. There she's in the chat. Probably I don't know. It's here. It's kind of in Mexico and Guatemala. It's kind of our spring break. It's Passover, but uh, the Holy Week that is happening. So if we have other questions, no, I can believe there's no more questions.
Well, maybe we can send you an example and get some feedback from you.
Well, unfortunately, I'm, you know, I create all the platforms. I help, but I don't kind of help. You know, that's part of the judge. That we're trying to be very, very, you know, like that's their job. This is my job. No, but how about if I show you how you can send your series? You know,
Sure.
some people had some issues with that. You know, it's not that it's not rocket science, but you know, it needs a little bit of a little push. So I'm gonna show you my screen and do it just from scratch. There we go. Well, you know, you go to Film Freeway. You need to create your account. I already kind of have one, so that's what I'm gonna log in. I log in with my Google. Yes, I have a lot of accounts. Don't be afraid. There we go. So we are okay. This one is leaving. Are you leaving? No. So then you go here. I'm gonna make it bigger. Mm-hmm. Better, Esther? Yeah. Well, there it goes. So you have Film Freeway, and you just go women doing fieldwork. Search. Oh, there it was. No. So one thing you can see is they say like, oh, okay, for decades, you know, like it's very nice, and there's the awards and prizes, and there's the long rules and terms. No, but it's very long. So first things first, or this is a piece of advice for everyone, is that you create your project. No, Film Freeway works that way. So you create your project and you just say like, oh, I need a project. You say like, it's a project about photography. And my project, I'm gonna title Example Thursday with Cats. Oh, and here's the thing, like we would like to know about this project, you know, like this project is about my cats who own my life. There it goes. And you can put your website if you have one that help us, you know, your Twitter, Facebook, I don't know, Instagram. Unfortunately, there's no LinkedIn. No, your contact information is very important. So you can put, you know, like, you know, I love taking pictures, or, you know, super duper anthropologist at gmail.com. Your phone, your address, your birthday, your gender, if you want, you know, is not mandatory. Credits. This is very important. Well, if you're the photographer, for example, Emilia was asking, you know, you put, well, here you put yourself, you know, Emilia. So like, there it goes. And, you know, well, if you have a middle name, you know, mine is Alejandro. I don't use my middle name a lot because it sounds like a Mexican soap opera, you know, too long. Oh, it's true, real. Believe me, sometimes it's a headache. Well, specifications. So you say your date taken, you put most of the information, you know, your country, you know, United States, well, these technical issues we are not interested. The picture, well, sometimes there's embedded information in the picture sometimes, and then you know, there we go, and then you save your project. Well, and there it goes. We say, okay, happy browse festivals. I already have it. So what you do here is you upload pictures. And you can upload it here. I already have something prepared from my own desktop. And I have this one that says photo examples. And I'm going to use these four. There we go. There's my photo examples of my cats. Now, so you see, there's upload one. There's a first example. Thursday with my cats, and there's the rest of them. You know, Blue, Iris, Mina, and Roman. There's the four of them. And here is one thing, and we please do this. You know, edit and edit caption, and you put here like here is Blue with Mr. Trout. I don't know if it's a trout, but there it goes, and I save it. No, and no, and here is like put Iris having a great time in oh in, oh, why am oh, there we go. In pieces workplace. I say the caption. No, and like, and you put more things. No, there he goes. You can put a photo of you, no, if you want, and you can put, no, there he goes, and there he goes. And that's it. There's the project. You can put the credits or some specifications. No, no, other files if you want to add, for example. No, you can add something like, well, this field work goes with this article. Put me a link or something. That's great. Actually, that helps us for the metadata. And then there you go. You can edit the project file, the privacy, festivals only, pip, 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 just leave it that, and then you're right. Now, you go to, sorry, internet issues here. We go again and search women doing field work. And well, I already submitted once because I was testing the platform. But I can submit again. Oh, and then you select your project. No, Mis Gatos. There he goes. Oh, not this one. Oh, no, it's this one. Example. It's free. This is very important because I need you to, I agree with the World Congress Privacy and Image User Statement. No, it's in English and Spanish. It's a little long. No, don't judge me too hard. No, and you can add to cart and check out. And complete your order. We're not charging anything at all. And, complete order. And there he goes. And then you're going to receive an email. Oh, there he goes. I just received my email in my in my phone, iPad, of course, my phone. Oh. For example, you're going to receive an email like, oh, kind of an alert here. You see? There he goes. Yes, another cat. And that's it. You're set. And then the judges, will take time and do it. And then you do the same process if you want to send another series. And voila, you know. It takes a little longer, of course, preparing, like I'm using titles because I know my cats for many years and, I know what they are doing. But you might want to take a little longer to, think about what the titles or your description, And I insist, it doesn't have to be, a full essay, 15 pages, no. Please. It's both. It's a balance between both, sending the pictures and your small description of your project as the platforms ask, and you're on the other side of the, let's say, of the wall, and just give us some time, and I think everyone, will have a space. Well, everyone will have their digital impact. Unfortunately, I don't have enough prices for everyone, but uh, no, there's one, and well, that's it. It's actually, I think it's very very simple, but of course, you know I've been working a little longer than you in this platform, so um, you know, just give it some time. There's still time, so no worries. Is there more questions, Natalia? Hello, welcome.
Hello, thanks.
You
Nice
have
to join
questions?
you.
Oh well,
No,
you're
no.
very welcome. Oh, how's that mate? Good. El mate está bueno.
Yes, it's really nice.
I'm
It's
glad.
half day here in Argentina, and we are used to take mate at this time.
Well, it's a little bit early here in Mexico. That's why we're starting with, a little coffee,
Coffee.
a little gel, a cup of gel, as they say.
Ricardo, I was just wondering about if I don't miss up, it was 5 pictures
No, three
Like
to
the kind
five.
of the amount of photos. 3 to 5. Okay, 3 to 5.
Each series.
And should, yes, the idea is that serious. Okay, great. Serious. It should work. Photos should speak with each other. It's kind of working like an essay with the photos, or not necessarily.
Not necessary. That's something that Emilia here asked also. It can tell a story,
Okay, sorry.
or it
Yes.
can't, because the axis, let's say, the main objective of the photo contest is actually you. Well, you,
Okay.
Natalia, Emilia, Esther, Mackenzie, Eunice, Deborah, Harrison, Mina. No, the thing is, like, I know that, some people always might say, but I'm too young, only my first field work. And you say, like, well, yes, that's enough for us, as long as you have pictures. The thing is about, sending the pictures. No. Then hopefully, but that's not on me, some of that will be considered by the judges. But think that there's also going to be an exhibition down in Guatemala, and people will be also able to download the catalog of the exhibition. Like big fancy museum, you say like, oh, I cannot make it to Guatemala. Well, no worries. You can download it, and I think that the downloadable version will have much more pictures, and there's gonna be the whole world of pictures on the internet. So yes, it can make a story, or can tell a story, because the thing is, see, it's more like an experiment of talking about you and your field work. You can say like, well, I did field work with fisheries, and then I did field work with mining zones, and then you say like, well, and I changed and I started doing field work during tourism in Peru. I don't know. No, they're not related in the field work, but the main axis, what's connecting them, it's you. That's the main idea, or the
Okay,
main
great.
purpose.
So as regards to that, that's important to be explained. That's what we need to explain in the little essay, the description, why
Yeah,
these
it's
pictures connecting
exactly. It's like
mainly.
why you're sending those three. As I say, I ask people like, I don't know, because Mino was making a question of saying like, remember one thing is that a lot of people from different cultural contexts and backgrounds are gonna see the pictures, and sometimes we see something is like, and what's that? I don't know. So we need a little bit of explanation to help us, well, to help us. Oh, hello, little friend.
Great, great.
Oh, hello. Yeah, also remember those who have kids, if you're coming to the Congress, we have childcare. No, so bring the little ones. And we're and I'm
Too
sorry,
difficult
we
to go with the little one from Argentina. I have my tickets, but the little one is staying with his dad.
well, if
But
you want to bring them, I know, but like what we will only be responsible is to turning them in very, early anthropologists. No, because they're gonna. No, Emilia, do you have kids? I don't know. I'm not bringing my cats, but for example, we have
I
these.
wanted to ask if you are bringing your cats. That this should
No,
be advertised.
no, I have enough with the whole Congress. No. Oh,
Okay, thank you
Maybe one
very
more.
much.
Maybe one more quick question. So you mentioned
ask
this
as much as
catalog.
you want. Yes,
You
no.
mentioned the catalog. So it's not only the winners who will be in the catalog.
Oh no, it's a whole exhibition.
Okay, that's nice.
Let me just give you a little hint, let's say. Well, something that you don't know, but I'm going to be very public about it. I'm a Wikidatist. And you say, like, and what the hell is that? Well, you have heard about Wikipedia. Well, I do a little Wikipedia, but, the infrastructure, the whole data organized and linked together is Wikidata. So I do a lot of Wikidata, especially for social scientists, and that help us, or help, for example, Those models help to make, for example, scholarly articles much more visible or people visible. No, not that they're going to show up, but that helps, for example, Google and other, how to say, search engines to find information for what you're asking. No? That's why I do it a lot. I link data with a lot of identifiers, and that helps. I can give you an example, for example, why this is so important. So, um, when you send your pictures, we're going to create a small profile of everyone, with the info that we have. And then we're going to create, for example, upload the things to Synode, that it's a platform that hopefully you know that, or everyone knows that it's linked with OpenAIR. That's the European Union citation indexing platform that accepts a lot of research outcomes. And then we're also, putting them in the commons of Wikipedia or Wiki Foundation. So that will allow us to create a digital identifier of that specific series of your pictures. Link it with your ORCID if you have one. If you don't have one, I will insist, to get one. It's free and it's great. No, and then we can link that to your small profile in Wikidata, and voila. Then you have a very solid, that other information can be linked, and then you're much more discoverable. And that's the whole idea. Now, the catalog is just because we like art, and our super duper designer, Paola, she's great at doing this. She will create a small piece of art that everyone, not only, you know, registered in the Congress, but everyone who would like to know about women doing field work will actually be able to download it and, learn about it. And hopefully, you know, just by seeing the pictures and, the names, as another small information saying like, hey, I want to learn about this, uh, this field work about this person. Ah, well, there's you only search for them and you find articles, books, hopefully videos. Remember that the Congress has also a very uh, a strong part of visual anthropology or audiovisual anthropology. Not that I want to scare people, but we received 778 film and documentary proposals. So that's a specific team working on curating what we will see during the Congress. So you see, it's a lot of work. Colleagues of visual anthropology worldwide are working on that. But we want to replicate something similar here with the photo contest. As much as we have, much more visible the women will be. Not just because of the tags, well, the tags, the metadata, and the images. So, yeah, it's gonna be a small. You see, there's a small thing for everyone in the Congress. Oh, and also let me say this very loud and clear. You don't have to be registered in the Congress. You just have to be to send your pictures, okay? Because there was a question, so like, do I need to be registered? And no, we wish you can join us in the Congress. That will be great. But if you can make it, you're also welcome to send your pictures. So that's the whole idea, like. And don't get me wrong. You don't need to be a photo. I have never been a photographer. Very bad at photos. But like, is the purpose is like use whatever we have in hand, the phone, the old camera, even the digital stuff, from archives. Bring your old pictures from that shoebox that you have in your closet, bring it out, digitize them, and send us what you have. That would be great to see it. Remember one thing, we have been doing field work for many, many years. Well, those who are, I think that we have been here. But a lot of people don't, mostly they read what we write, and that's great. They read, but they don't actually see us in the field or don't see what they're. And those things from the past, even if we were, very young or younger, I'm gonna say, um, it's important. I think it's important to have some archives or some evidence of what, especially women. Not, I'm not sending pictures, of course. No, but you, please send them. No, this is not for well, it's part of the Congress, but this is for our colleagues, women
Yes.
anthropologists.
Carlos,
Yeah.
I have one doubt. You were just saying that it's our pictures, no? I just wanted to know it's our pictures, and it's about seeing us in the field. So this brings me another question. If it's our pictures, in a way, it's seeing us on in the field, but I'm wondering, it is not necessary to be in the picture, because that means we are not taking the picture, of course. It's not necessary to be inside the picture, photographed,
No.
but doing taking pictures, thinking, no, registering. That's the idea, just
Yes, exactly.
to be on the right side. Okay,
That's the whole
great.
idea. What I was saying when it was the beauty of metadata is that actually, we make reference of things or people or objects or stuff in general. Sometimes we think that in the pictures we need to be there, like kind of a diploma. Well, here in Mexico it's like that. You have your pictures, you have a nice haircut that I don't have now, no earrings and no stuff. No, black and white, very still. No, it's a very 19th century identifying technique. I know, no. But right now we have, I think, we can express ourselves different ways. No, we have the audiovisual covered now. We're not asking for small shorts from the phone. That will be great, but actually we don't. I don't want to get in trouble. But pictures allow us to create, something much more special. I think, the catalog, can be, downloadable if someone has money, can print it. We'll be printing quality, like, well, here's a Christmas gift. Oh, so you printed the women doing fieldwork exhibition catalog is the best gift ever I have for Christmas or birthday or something. I don't know. But that's one idea, and especially what I'm in much more interested is in the metadata that is going to stay there until the internet, exists. That's why. That's something that we have been discussing here in digital humanities. That's another thing, no, and thing that you don't need to know. But I also teach that. Digital humanities is that, for example, is like the persistency and the discoverability of things, especially people. Not that everyone has to be there, like discoverable. But in this case, as we are creating and engaging with different people, cultures, time periods, and also this is not sending a probe, for example. This is people talking with people and asking questions. I think it's important, to have some of those records because it's part of our archival history in anthropology. That's also part of it. Now, of course, we cannot do it, asking, for example, whole fieldwork notebooks. No, that will be great, but there's also the privacy issues. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but at least if we can have it, a very small piece of saying, for example, oh, Natalia did fieldwork in this kind of fieldwork in the summer of 2020. No, immediately we say, oh, that's before the pandemic. And also, that's very important because we, during the pandemic, and I'm very happy that seeing everyone, and I hope that they didn't have a lot of, it was a bad time for all of us in different ways. But for example, a lot of people did field work online. Well, that's also field work, how they manage it, that's also important, you know, because also that creates of saying like, well, I had a and I know that some of us, we learned how to make bread, we drank wine, we have online parties, but we also were, online exhaustion. And, depending on our condition, we have different kind of impact in our health and our, emotions. But, it's important to record it because we are also humans. So if people have those kind of experiences, they're also welcome. No, it's not only about our results, I'm going to say, it's about us. And in this case, it's about women doing field work. that's the main idea. Sorry, sometimes I talk too much.
Perfect. Thanks for your answer.
So if there's more questions, I'll be happy to. I was gonna give a weird example, but I don't know why is this crazy idea. But yes, yeah, please just tell me your questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them, or something that you have like say, this sounds weird, Ricardo.
Just to know, a small question. The description should be in English or Spanish. Is the same, both?
Is the same.
It's the same. Okay, great.
Is the same as you wish. Let's say.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, give me a second so I can say goodbye. Okay. Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, I was gonna give another example why we're doing this, but
I have to leave.
yes, well,
So,
nice meeting you, seeing you, hearing you. No, hopefully you send us,
yeah,
invite your friends. Oh, but before
okay,
you leave, um,
yeah.
remember that there's also another contest that's well, I don't want to say smaller, but our colleagues from the UIS commission, well, there's several commissions. There's another photo contest that it's called Portraying Religion and Health. Well, I'm gonna just show it here in the screen. There he goes. You see, it's an exhibition. Well, we're gonna have also a small exhibition from this small contest. No, I don't have the information in Spanish because this is from the colleagues of. Oh, there it goes. It's extended deadline. Portraying religion is a commission of anthropology, religion, visual anthropology, museums, culture and heritage, visual anthropology. So they have a lot of things, and you can find all the information. Oh, where is my Zoom thing? Ah. You can find all the information online on the WOW webpage. So they also have very nice prices. You know, there's an eligibility, and this is, I think, sometimes, you know, well, that depends, because this is sending via email your pictures or your photos. So, yep, there it goes. You know, those interested, you know, my pleasure to send you an email with the details. You know. And it's also, well, you're seeing me. Oh, there's again follow with my cat, but um, the information is in UIS, WOW, WCA, and the Congress. And so we have another contest like that, and well, hopefully you will join. You see, there's a lot of visual going on. I don't know why, right?
Yes.
People like it. And in this one, there's a camera. Oh, and you're going to be in a panel. You know, so the Congress is paying the fees for those who win.
Oh.
You see, fancy that. But well, you see, there's a lot of things. Oh, there's also one question that I was asked once that so the people who win would be in the Congress. Unfortunately, I don't have resources for that. No, my bad. No, I wish I had. No, but we might be able to connect you with via, you know, the whole Congress in Guatemala is hybrid. So
Mm.
basically, you know, we will be recording everyone, and everyone's gonna be having a lot of fun. You know, multiple sites, and you know, well, it's gonna be. I hope it's gonna be great. You know, we're working a lot in the infrastructure, so everyone have a good experience, even from far away. You know, so no worries about it. So if there's more questions, no, really, really, no. something,
Great,
Emilia?
great. Yes,
How many series
nice.
each are sending? Like 2 or 3?
Me?
Yes.
One.
One?
One for
Well, okay.
sure. One for sure. So we can send more than one. That's great to
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Yes. Okay,
yeah.
great.
There's no limit. Of course,
No.
if you want to send text, I don't have a problem. But
No.
it's
Yeah,
that
maybe.
that probably might be a whole evening, a whole afternoon working, uploading.
Great.
No, I
No,
would
that's
love to say like extra points if you have pictures with cats, but it's not up to me.
Damn it. Yeah.
It's not up to me, and I'm sorry for that, but like I don't put the rules here. So, well, yeah, that's part of the idea. Well, it's very, I think it's, quite interesting. I don't want to say, well, the platform, but I didn't design the platform, but the platform gave us the certainty of, having the whole thing, and it's easier you know, for the evaluation because you can see them in, let's see the description, and I also can make people sign the thingy about the Creative Commons. That makes my life easy. So I only have to print it, send it to the Commons, and everyone's happy. No, so that's why we're asking for it. No, it's not bad faith. It's just because we really, really want to create this impact. And later we will be asking, being a little annoying, asking like, well, what you have written? Do you have your orchid? Do you have some other information, your Google Scholar? Yes,
Mhm.
I know, I know, I know. I can be
that
annoying.
sorry, that information is required when we have to
No, I will
download
ask for that later. Right now,
later. Okay, great. That's not needed right now.
no, no. I'm just preparing people, for the. Well, it's also good, as scholars, to have a good, strong, digital presence on the
Yeah.
internet. Especially those of us from, I'm gonna say from the global south, because sometimes the internet works in very weird ways. But we can make people very, very visible, and it's part also about this citational crusade that we have. Like, yes, it's great to read in English, but let's also read in Spanish, French, German, Chinese, Japanese. All
Oh, yes.
languages, indigenous languages. Let's start writing about them. Now let's start learning about them. You know,
Yeah.
and
The same applies to Eastern Europe. Yeah.
oh, where are you from?
I'm from Poland.
Oh, dobro jutro.
Dobry wieczór.
Mm. No, I have a good friend from Poland.
Nice. Anthropologist?
No lawyer.
Okay.
Sorry. Sometimes it's good to have a small group of friends, lawyers from different countries. You never know.
You never know. Yeah. But yeah, that's really sad. I mean, I worked also in more western part of Europe, and there uh, I was often really shocked to hear that or to see how limited interest people have. I mean, we are all anthropologists and claim to be very open-minded and anti-colonial and something, many big words. But then when it comes to promoting other scholars, quoting other scholars, inviting other scholars for a guest talk, it's always a handful of countries coming, and other ones are not really considered. So even within Europe, it's shocking, but same problem.
Well, you see, but now one thing that we learned from example from the pandemic is that now we can connect people. You
Yeah.
know, it's a little bit more expensive, but I think worth it. No, of course we are dealing with the obsolescence of technology sometimes. Not everyone has the time for reading everything or the resources for downloading stuff. No, that's why during the pandemic we became pirates, you know, for some things. But a lot of things in English, that's also kind of the irony. Not materials, for example, in my case in Spanish, and I have discussions this just before we were quarantined, all around the world, is that we have very little pirate, materials in Spanish in platforms. And for example, I don't know if Natalia knows, but there's a very small, great group of, you know, library pirates in Argentina that actually they even created a very small, great manual how to digitize books from your house with, very, from house appliances and create your own scanner. It was great, actually. No. So, but we still have very little materials. Not that I'm promoting, illegal practices. No, don't do it. But but we need to read. We need to get the materials, and also because that's part of the citation project. Sometimes it's very important, to put a face to the article or to the book. No. So yeah. No, I know we're drifting away from the fieldwork experience, uh, but it's related to what we want to achieve with this photo contest. Photos, link metadata, scholarly products. It will be great at some point. And I understand sometimes that people, for example, I was talking with a journalist here in Mexico and said, I recall for journalists that's not very good. No, because it's not safe. And it's completely understandable. That's why we're linking the people, and that's why we're accepting pictures of the fieldwork, not of yourself. You see, we can make visible the work, but not the person for safety reasons. Now, that's also important. It's not making things open just because. Yeah, it has a lot of things about the digital presence, security, privacy issues, impact, platforms, everything's there.
You came to some important issue. Another question. What about consent? Do we need to have people's consent about the pictures?
We are asking that we hope that you have consent.
Okay.
But
Because
for example,
pictures were taken, in my case, pictures were taken without asking people to sign that they give
yeah,
the
I
consent.
understand
But
that.
of
But for
course,
example, I'm sorry, but for example, it's when you have you're sitting in a group. No, there's kind of a tacit agreement that when you're taking a picture of or someone is taking a picture of the group, or you're taking a picture of the group during your field work, that there was permission. No, and also let's remember one thing, and that's from my Mexican Guatemalan experience. It is that 20 something years ago, we didn't have that kind of like, uh, social sciences and especially consent has changed and has been debated and for good, giving much more um, participation or leverage and visibility and of course permission to the people we work with, doing research. That didn't happen like 20 something years ago. No, for example, those pictures is like, yeah, Ricardo's taking pictures because it's his field work and there's a tacit agreement. No, sorry, and that's also how we were trained. Things have changed for good. Well, in some contexts, some other contexts, no, and there's some training for that. No, like I'm sorry, but we cannot, like ask specifically for something. Like, do you have permission of those pictures you're sending us 40 years ago? Like, no.
no, that's why. Okay, great to know. But yes, of course.
No, but for example, in one specific case, because from Argentina, for example, some colleagues, I don't remember, there was some kind of archive that wrote us, and I said like, oh, that's catchy, for example. Like, can we send pictures of these anthropologists? Like, yes and no. If you have the permission from some specific archive, or like, for example, if you're the director of the archive and you want to make visible specific collections where there's women doing field work, no problem. But if you're an individual, for example, like me, roaming around God knows how many archives and sending pictures of people and not permission with the archive, that will be an issue. No. So, for example, we're having several exhibitions of during the Congress. One is women doing fieldwork, but we want another one about doing fieldwork in Guatemala in the last God knows how many years, because this is an opportunity for everyone who has done fieldwork, foreigners and nationals, So we're asking, friends, well, I'm calling them friends, colleagues from the US, from Europe, from Canada, to say like, hey, send us your pictures when you were doing fieldwork. That was 30 years ago. No worries. Like, we want to see what you were doing. And if possible, we will ask archives. Let me put you an example. And I know it's getting late. When I was doing some research in the American Philosophical Society in Philadelphia, I came around that the personal papers of Ruben Reina are in the American Philosophical Society. Pictures of how to say it, like films, like paintings. No, there's a lot of things from Ruben. And I actually talked with Ruben back in the day. Like, hey, Ruben, it's great that you did Guatemala. He covers specific things about the history. Like, he was there during an earthquake in, I think, the 70s, 80s. Like, he has a lot of material. But, like, he donated those materials to the American Philosophical Society. So I'm going to ask the American Philosophical Society, like, hey, can we, use some pictures? It will be great for the exhibition. Hey, can you help us and probably digitize some of the films? We want to see us because that's in an archive and very few people had a chance to look at that. So this is an opportunity, and this opportunity is the Congress, I think. We haven't had this kind of activity. Yes, there's Central American Congresses, and we're very happy with those. But this is the first time that we can bring a lot of people with different contexts, anthropologists, of saying like in one place,
Mhm.
and
Very,
hybrid,
yes.
and you can connect from every part of the world. Now, let's say like, oh, like I don't have a paper or participate. No worries. Well, I'm not going to charge you for assisting or attending Congress this big. This is about learning and sharing and caring also. So that's why we're recording everything. Like, if you don't have a chance to see it today, maybe you have a chance to see it tomorrow or 1 year from now. Or who knows? Some of these videos can be part of some class one day. Like, oh, there you go. There's this video of this topic about this region. That's the beauty of it. And of course, there's the bibliography and the thing. It's just creating a whole new world of things. Of course, it has implications, but I'm trustful that it's for good. It's for good. So, many more questions, Emilia? Well, there's only two people left here, Emilia
Yeah,
and
we have a
Natalia.
nice group now.
So if there's no
you.
more questions, I'm just gonna stop recording.
Okay.
Great. Great.